Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashem Yashab Bashem Hakudash, and double honors to Graham's apostles and the elder bishops of Graham Stone. Thadia Shah for the strength of those who made this video, and the artists are they find this video edifying and exhorting. Edifying meaning to build up, and exhorting meaning to encourage. So, Yaratazar, this is the part six to the, Joseph was an example of conviction, which is a firmly held belief, as I established, between video of the part 1 to part 5. This video, I'm gonna just read Genesis 42, and we just get straight to the point. So just for some context, in the previous chapter, in Genesis 41, that's when Joseph was, of course, interpreting the dreams. Went into the gifts. Of course, certain brothers have their chosen gifts that Yahweh Shem Yashai has blessed them with. So he was interpreting dreams. The seven years of harvest, 7 years of famine. And right now, Yaratazar, we're going to read about Jacob. Of course, considering the famine was global, I believe, as mentioned in Genesis 41. Of course, Jacob and the family, they had to send his sons to Egypt to get food, essentially. But let me just get into it. So, Genesis 42 and verse 1, it says, "Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get ye down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die." So of course they need to get food, during that time of famine. Verse 3, "And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob, sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him." So, let's say if the scenario plays out that mischief would befall him, man. So of course something wrong to happen, kind of like the way that his brethren, Joseph's brethren, accused, made a false lie that an animal killed him. So let's see. Verse 5, it says, "And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed themselves before him with their faces to the earth." So Joseph, again, his responsibility was to, of course, sell the food and pretty much divide the food amongst the people, man. They come there to buy. And of course, that was Joseph was the one who was overseeing all of that. And his brothers came in to bow themselves. Now, verse 7 says, "And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them." Which means that he pretty much was he acted in a manner of way of which his brothers wouldn't recognize him. Considering, of course, Joseph, he recognized them, but his brothers didn't. And sometimes that's how it is in the truth, man. The Most High will make you notice certain individuals from your past, and they don't recognize you. As they say, invisibility can be a strength, or it can be, a hindrance. Sometimes, it's all about perspective here. But of course, pertaining to strength, it means you can observe people from your past of whom are now popping up, man. So this is Joseph's case here. So, he was using wisdom. And Joseph, so Genesis 42 and verse 7, "And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them." He knew them, meaning he recognized them. So it says, let's see, "But made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them, and he said unto them, Hence come ye. And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food." So, they established where they came from. "And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. They knew not him." So, of course, he recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. You see, so of course Joseph was one to not just interpret dreams, but he had dreams too, as it said there. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. Oh, to be fair, when you read Genesis, I believe either 38, I believe it was 38. If it's not 38, it could be 39. Actually, no, definitely not 39. Probably even 37, I'll say. Yeah, definitely, it's got to be 37. Yeah, Genesis 37, about the bundle of, I was going to say stick. I'm going to just get to the verse. Genesis 37 and verse 7. It says, For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. And lo, my sheaf arose, which is like a bundle of hay, something like that, or bundle of wheat. And it says, Lo, my sheaf arose and also stood up upright. And behold, your sheaf stood around about and made obeisance to my sheaf. So that was one of the dreams that Joseph remembered here. Hence it says here, in jumping back to Genesis 42 and verse 9, and Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of. He dreamed of them and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. So let's read verse 10. Genesis 42 and 10. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. So they stated their purpose. State your cause. I don't know what movie that comes from or where it's related from, but I know it comes from a certain movie. Could have been the movie State Your Cause, or one of the medieval movies. Anyway, so those ancient, time of the Tudors and medieval England type of thing, Vikings and whatnot. So anyways, let's read. Yeah, Genesis 42 and 11. I'll read verse 10 again. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, which means no, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and the one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it, and I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Saying, Ye are spies, hereby ye shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. Ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies. And he put them all together intoward 3 days. So, kept some in prison, and of course one of the other brothers was sent to go back to Jacob. So verse 18 now, Genesis 42 and 18. Joseph said unto them the third day, This do, and live, for I fear the Most High. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye carry corn for the famine of your houses, as I just said, which is really coming from the scriptures. So, keep one. Let me read it again. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren, let one of your brothers be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said unto him, they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we will not hear, therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. You see, so of course, they would have as they were speaking amongst themselves, they didn't realize that Joseph would actually understand the tongue of which they were speaking, anyways. Because of course amongst the Egyptians they would have spoken their own tongue, and then obviously ancient Hebrew amongst the children of Jacob. So it says, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And that was the illusion. So it says, and they knew not that Joseph understood, for he spake unto them by an interpreter, and he turned himself about from them, and wept. So he cried, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses, they laded their donkeys with the corn, and departed from thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that the Most High hath done unto us? Yeah, liking that as a judgment, considering how he treated Joseph. Anyway, so it says, I might have to read that in the NLT as well, just to get some clarification. Because it seems as though he lost his money sack. That's what I'm perceiving. But let's get in the NLT. Alright, so from verse 27 it should be. Actually, from verse 25. Let me read from verse 25. So this is Genesis 42 in the New Living Translation, NLT. It says, Joseph then ordered his servants to fill this men's sacks with grain, but he also gave secret instructions to return each brother's payment at the top of his sack. He also gave them supplies for their journey home. Verse 26. So the brothers loaded their donkeys with grain and headed for home. But when they stopped for the night, and one of them opened his sack to get grain for his donkey, he found his money in the top of his sack. Verse 28 says, he claimed to his brothers, my money has been returned. It's in my sack. Then their hearts sank, trembling. They said to each other, what has the Most High done unto us? Yeah, my Salak Yakin. Sometimes you be reading the KJV, the understanding might wither there. That's why you got to read the NLT sometimes with certain verses that you don't get. But really, that was like as a blessing from the Most High, not a punishment. So just, let's see. Let me get back to it. Yeah, Salakia, that was from my end. So yeah, Salakia also, again, for any new brothers or sisters, Salak means forgive, Salakia means forgive me. So it's that saying sorry. So yeah, really, they got blessed. Anyways. But Joseph still, as we read in the former verses, he wept as well, because after all these years, man, his brothers has now come to him. The dream has now come to pass. Now, let's see, verse 29 in the KJV now. It says, and they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father, one is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundle of money, they were afraid. It must have been an immense amount of coins. Well, I say coins, immense amount of money that they had. Which obviously back in the day they would have used real gold and silver, not like nowadays. But anyways, it must have been an immense amount for them to be shocked, man. Now it says, and Jacob their father said unto him, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, which they just met but they didn't realize. And Simeon is not, because Simeon was in prison. He's being kept whilst other brothers are going back to relay the news to Jacob. You will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. Of course, Reuben was showing that fiery spirit, man. He literally just said, kill my 2 sons. Let me read it again. It says, slay my 2 sons, which means kill my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee, which means, Reuben was on that committed mindset, I should say. He was committed to returning Simeon. So it says, slay my 2 sons if I bring him not to thee. So of course, if he fails to bring Simeon, so Reuben was saying, all right, kill my 2 sons. That ain't a light thing to say, but that shows how committed he was. It says in verse 38, it says, and he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which you go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Yeah, because it would have been a case. Jacob lost one son, Joseph. He's thinking that he's dead, but Joseph ain't dead. But with Simeon, with Benjamin, he's like, he doesn't want to lose Benjamin, man, by the same way he lost Joseph. So that's why Jacob is far more cautious now. But anyways, let me get this precept quickly. Let's see. Let me get these ones, close it out, and after that I'm gonna do a part 7 as well. So I just wanna close it out, when of course pretty much close to the ending of Genesis, man. Prior to them departing to Egypt, or the whole nation rather. Just completing the experience of Joseph. So like, if I didn't make that clear enough, from the time where he had those dreams to the time where his brothers realized, oh damn, this is Joseph. Anyway, so let me get this. Just hold on, bear with me. Alright, so this is Luke 21 and 19. It says, in your patience possess ye your soul. So even when Joseph's brothers came by, he didn't say, oh, you did this to me, you caused me so much pain. He didn't complain. He held his silence, which is of course a learning lesson something that could be learned from us, to be able to suffer wrongfully. I'm gonna bring that precept out as well, but also to just stay silent and let the Most High do what He does, man. The Most High put the Spirit within him to do that too. To remember his dream, which is literally when he was coming out as well. His brothers coming down to literally as well, because as the scriptures said, the brothers bowed down to him, man. Let me read it. Let me read that verse again. He bowed down to him. So that's the dream coming to pass. Genesis 42 and verse 6, it says, "And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers, came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth." So that's the dream in Genesis 37 that came to pass, man. So even then, Joseph was keeping it cool, keeping the mystery. They didn't even realize it was Joseph, man. Imagine that. And so the Most High put the Spirit within him to do so. In fact, speaking of, as it says there in Proverbs 20 and 24, just hold on. Proverbs 20 and 24, just so I know that. Because it says, I could say it, but let me just read it since I'm already there. So Proverbs 20 and 24, it says, "Man's goings are of the Lord, Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way?" You see, so the Most High put the Spirit within Joseph to, play that character so that his brothers wouldn't recognize him either. And to be fair, it's been a lot of years, a lot of years. Imagine, Joseph came young, sold by the Midianites. He was suffered under Potiphar's wife. After that, then he was in prison for a while. Then he had like 14 years that passed by as well. Because remember the 7 years of harvest, 7 years of famine. So that's 14 years passing by, man. Then, you don't know how Joseph would have changed in appearance as well, man. So, anyway, so man's goings are of the Lord, man. So let me get to this. Luke 21 and 19 says, "In your patience possess ye your souls." You see, in the NLT it says something about that as well. But clearly patience is a clear virtue. Alright, hold on. In the NLT it says, "By standing firm, you will win your soul." You see? Of course, Joseph broke down a little bit, cried, which he wouldn't, considering what he suffered through. And yeah, imagine the thoughts that was running in his head as well. But yeah, by standing firm, you will win your soul. So he still played a patient game, man. He didn't say, "Oh, he did this to me and did all that." Most I put the Spirit within him to say, "All right, just don't say nothing yet. Just go with the flow. Go with the flow." All right, let me get this precept and I'm gonna close it out, man. As I said before, suffering wrongfully. This is 1 Peter 2 and verse 19. "This is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable for the Most High." So of course, suffering through injustices, is more commendable in the eyes of the Most High, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Just because you're right and another person is wrong, sometimes you just gotta allow the other person to think that they're right, especially when it comes to the world, really. So there's many moments where you have to suffer wrongfully, when it comes to your family or so-called workplaces in the world or so-called friends of the world. That's the thing. That's the wisdom. literally even with brothers as well, because Joseph was a major example of that too. He had to suffer wrongfully with his brothers, man. So yeah, Artaza, I found the video edifying and exhorting. So I'm just close out there, point proven, and in the part 7 I'm gonna read Genesis chapter 43. So Shalom and Yahweh Shem Yashai, Barakatha.